Hey, this is Awais with OpenTrader, and this is the market analysis and outlook video being shot the evening of Wednesday, November 7th. Now, in our last video, which was shot on Monday, we talked about the key support at 1405 to 1406 half, and on the upside, we were targeting 1420 quarter and mentioned that that was a resistance area, and on first test, it'll likely attract responsive sellers, and then in the event of a fast break above that zone, which will show up as a low volume node on the intraday chart, we were looking at 1428 to 1430. So we can see that on Tuesday, we headed higher and tested 1420, 1420 half, which attracted responsive sellers on first test. We bounced a little bit, and then we got a breakout above it, which showed up as a LVN at 1420.75. And this indicated short-term buyers in control. We got to move up to 1428 to 1430, where responsive sellers were active, and then we basically just chopped and pulled back towards the VPOC into the close. So over the course of the overnight session on Tuesday, we were looking at 1419 to 1421 as a key support zone, and we were using that as the bull-bear zone in the overnight session. But bigger picture, we were still using 1405 to 1406 half as key support. And the other thing that we mentioned in the last video from Monday night was that if we got a directional break below 1405, then the market could tag these naked VPOCs at 1396 half, 1390, and then the open gap at 1383. So those would be the downside targets on a directional break below 1405. We had quite a volatile session Tuesday night due to the US elections, and then we had some news out of Europe that drove price lower. We opened on a large gap down, got an open drive opening type, which indicated sellers in control right off the open, and also clued us in that this could develop into a trend down day. Now, this is something I posted on Twitter this afternoon, but just to restate it, our basic strategy, right? If I had to distill it down to one line, our strategy to trade the markets is to fade the key reference areas on balanced and non-trend days, and then get on board in direction of trend on trend days. So if that's the basic strategy that we're trading, then it becomes very important to identify a trend day pretty early in the session. And we actually have a video that explains the various things that we look for to identify a trend day very early in the morning. And if you'd like to access that video, then simply go to opentrader.com, sign up to our mailing list, and you'll get access to 2 training videos. And one of them explains how to identify a trend day. So anyway, this morning developed into a trend down day, so we were simply looking to sell, and any longs that would be taken would have to be at pretty significant support areas. So we can see that we got a directional move down to 1384, and that's where responsive buyers entered, and we got a pretty decent pushback up to 1399 quarter, which again, as since we were trading this as a trend down day, any bounces were to be shorted, and 1399 quarter was another level that we were looking to sell, and the expectation was for the S&P to close around 1390 to 91. Now typically trend days will close pretty close to the low of day, but because we were hitting some significant support zones below, we skewed that to the upside, and figured that we would actually close a little bit higher than we usually do on a trend down day, and our estimate was 1390 to 91. We ended up closing pretty close to that. So let's actually zoom out and look at a slightly bigger picture chart to understand why we got responsive buying off of 1384. So now we're going to switch over to this other chart, which begins on August 3rd. This was the gap up and trend up day that started this entire upside, which ended at 1468. So looking at this entire composite profile, we can see that we have a swing low at 1385, we have a low volume node 1384.75, we have the value area low on this entire composite at 1385.5, and then this swing low at 87.5. So we have a few different ideas in play as price is approaching 1385. So, if you're going to take a counter trend long, then 1385 is a very good spot to do it, right? Anywhere in the 1385 to 1386 area, which, combines this low volume node, swing low, value area low on a large composite, that would be the spot where if you're going to take a counter trend trade, then that's at least providing you a very good trade location. And then the push into 1384 also happened on a negative tick extreme. The tick was pushing close to negative 1100 at the time. It was a new low on the tick, and that actually attracted responsive sellers, and we got a nice move back up to 1399 quarter off 1384. So just to understand why we got the responsive buying, where we got it, it's good to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, and that puts everything in perspective and gives us at least put some logic behind the market moves. So now let's discuss some ideas going forward from here. So at this point, we've broken below a fairly developed balance area, and we've done it in one trading day, right? So in one session, we've taken out this entire balance area that's developed over the last couple of weeks. So at this point, sellers are clearly in control, and we will be looking to enter short on any bounces back up towards 1398 to 1400, 1405 to 1407. So we're going to keep an eye on this composite VPOC at 1406.5, and as long as we're holding below it, we're going to be considering sellers in control. Ideally, we want to see the S&P hold below 1400, and then we'd like to see a capitulation move in order for us to consider a reversal in trend. Right now, we're not viewing today as a capitulation move to the downside, and we think that there's still more downside in the market, and that we could retest the lows that were established today and potentially even head a little bit lower and tag the 1383 gap and 1381 naked VPOC, and maybe even a little bit lower than that. So those are ideas heading over the next couple of sessions. We'll see how the market plays out, but at this point we'll be looking to short any pops back up towards 1400, towards 1406.5, and then in the event that price breaks above 1406.5, we'll revisit this hypothesis, and we'll see where our bias stands at that point. But for now, we're going to be looking to actively sell any pops up into resistance, and then we'll be looking to take profits at the strong support zones on the downside. I hope everyone traded well today, and we'll catch you in the next video.